All right, you can go.
Hi, my name is Cece, and so I am going to be doing your assessment today. So we're probably going to meet for about 30 minutes, and I'm just going to ask you some questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit better, get to know your history a little more, and really just kind of get to know what's going on right now.
Okay.
Um, do you prefer Bree, or is there another like nickname you would prefer to be called?
You can call me Bree. That's okay.
Okay. So Bree, what kind of brings you in to see me today?
Honestly, I've just been struggling with being super sad and like I just feel like there's nothing I can do that like can make me happy. So I feel like super depressed, I guess.
Okay. So when you say that you feel depressed, kind of what does that feel like for you? Because, depression feels different for everybody.
I don't know. I feel really sad most of the time. Like I cry a lot. I don't really want to do anything that I used to like to do. I sleep every chance that I get, and even after like wake up, I still feel tired like all the time. So I don't know. I just feel really bad lately.
Yeah. I can understand how that's been, pretty hard on you. How has that affected you? And like, how has that affected, school or work or relationships?
Well, it's made it really, really hard. It's affected my school a lot because I just don't have the energy to get my stuff done. So I don't study, and so I don't get good grades on my like quizzes and tests and stuff because I don't know the information. Um, at work, it's affected me a little bit. I'm by myself most of the time, so that's been, you know, okay, I guess. It's affected my friendships a lot because I don't ever want to hang out with them. I don't like just I feel like I just can't hang out with them because I'm just too tired and I don't want to.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely understand how these, kind of overwhelming feelings of exhaustion, just sadness, I can tell that it's really, negatively impacted a lot of different aspects of your life. And I can
Mhm.
imagine it's been really hard for you.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember about when this depression really started? Or was there maybe a certain event that maybe triggered it or anything like that?
Honestly, it's kind of happened since probably middle school, like on and off. Um, I can't really think of. Well, there was one time where I had a really, really big fight with like my best friend, and I was like really depressed after that. And ever
Mhm.
since then, it's just been like on and off, I guess.
Okay. I can imagine that's been really exhausting for you dealing with it for so long.
Yeah, because I feel like, oh, I'm better now, and then it happens again. Oh, I'm better now, it happens again.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that's very frustrating.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I know that you mentioned that this has been going on for quite a while. Have you ever had any kind of like mental health treatment before?
Actually, no, I have not.
Okay. Have you ever taken any kind of like medications for any mental health issues?
Um, no, not for mental health issues.
Okay. What kind of medications have you taken?
I take vitamins, and I take probiotics, and I think that's all.
Okay. Have you ever been hospitalized before for any kind of like mental health reasons?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Um, have you ever received any kind of like injectable medications or anything like that before, other than like a flu shot or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So these next couple questions that I'm going to ask are for your safety. Before we get started with these, I forgot to mention at the beginning, anything that you say during this meeting is confidential. I am required by law to keep things between you and me, but there are some limits to that confidentiality. So if you were to mention to me that you had plans to harm yourself or harm somebody else, I would be legally required to report that, for your safety and for other people's safety. And then if you mentioned any kind of like ongoing child abuse or child neglect or like abuse of like a dependent adult or anything like that, I would also be legally required to report that. Do you have any questions about that? I know that that can kind of seem a little weird.
No, I think I understand.
Okay, awesome. So, have you ever had any thoughts about like harming yourself or even killing yourself before?
When I was younger, yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So when I was talking about that big fight I had with my friends in seventh grade, it like really like spun me into like a deep, dark sadness. I don't know if it was depression or not, but I was really sad and upset. Just because I lost all my friends basically. So I did end up cutting myself with a knife a couple times, and I felt like I wanted to die, but I never tried to kill myself.
Okay. So it sounds like, when you were doing the self-harming, you were using it more of a coping mechanism instead of, like a suicide attempt. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just kind of did it to feel something other than sadness.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. So you've never attempted to kill yourself using any kind of methods?
No, I have not.
Okay. I know you mentioned, some thoughts of being better off dead. Did you ever, like come up with a plan?
No, I never came up with a plan. I was too scared.
Okay. I understand that. Have you ever had any kind of thoughts of like harming other people?
No, no, I haven't.
Okay. Okay. So now we're just going to kind of go through some different things. I'm going to ask you some questions about kind of what's currently going on.
Okay.
So lately, have you been feeling, I know you mentioned you've been feeling pretty depressed off and on. How long has this recent bout been?
Been a while. I would say probably close to a year.
Okay. So, when you're having, these bouts of depression, do you, like lose interest in things that you used to really enjoy or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I used to really love going out to eat with my friends on the weekends, and we have not done that. Well, they go, but I don't go with them. So,
Right. Okay. And then I know that you've mentioned, these bouts, they usually last a couple of weeks or months. So, you know, um, is there ever a time that you go like a couple of weeks feeling the exact opposite? So maybe feeling like really elated or having like a lot of energy, maybe needing a lot less sleep than usual, anything like that?
um, no, I would say generally most of the time I'm just down. I feel like I cannot be happy.
Okay. Okay. What about, have you ever seen or heard anything that maybe the people around you didn't see or hear?
No.
Have you ever like heard voices or maybe had like an overwhelming feeling of paranoia? So maybe feeling like somebody was watching you or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Have you ever felt like you had any kind of like special powers or like maybe you could like read someone else's mind or anything of that nature?
I wish, but no.
Right. Sometimes that would make life a little easier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about in these past several months feeling like an overwhelming sense of worry or anxiety about things that aren't in your control?
I do have a little bit of anxiety and worry, but it's not something that I feel like controls my life very much. I feel like it's pretty normal.
Okay. What about, so you feel like, you're able to control it?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Are there any kind of like specific objects or like animals or places that cause you like really intense fear?
Not no, not fear. Mm-mm.
Okay. Have you ever had like a panic attack? So, having like such intense fear where your heart is beating really fast, maybe you get sweaty, anything like that.
I do get sweaty when I have to give speeches in front of people, but I feel like that's kind of normal.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people who have a lot of difficulty, putting themselves in front of a bunch of other people.
Hmm.
So yeah. What about like any kind of do you experience any kind of like unwanted images or thoughts that you just can't really push away?
No, not really.
Okay. What about do you have any kind of like physical rituals that you do in order to like prevent certain events? So maybe like frequent hand washing or maybe having to like lock your door 3 times or anything of that kind of nature.
No.
Okay. Um, so have you ever had any kind of trauma? So have you ever experienced anything where, your life was in danger or maybe you witnessed something traumatic happening to someone else? Anything that you can think of?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And everybody has trouble remembering things, especially in these crazy times that we're in. But have you ever like lost a significant amount of time or maybe forgot some really important details about yourself?
No.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever felt like you were kind of detached from your body? So kind of like looking down on your body before?
No.
Okay. All right. What about like your physical health? How is your physical health?
It's okay. It's not the best. I feel like I should be a little bit healthier, but I'm generally pretty healthy.
Okay. Do you have some worries about your physical health? Like, do you feel like you kind of worry excessively about your physical health?
No, I would like to lose some weight, but it's not something that's always on my mind or anything.
Okay. So it sounds like you have some physical health concerns, but that they're under control. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
okay. Perfect. What do you think of like your appearance? Do you feel like you have like generally high self-esteem, generally kind of some low self-esteem? How do you kind of feel about yourself?
Mm, right now, it's pretty low. Just because I'm just so sad all the time and like feel down all the time, so I just feel like ugh, like sluggish almost.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about so has this low self-esteem, has it ever led to maybe like maybe some unhealthy eating habits? So maybe, going long periods of time without eating or maybe, eating a lot and then maybe like vomiting afterwards, anything kind of like that.
No, I've never done that before.
Okay. Have you noticed any issues with like overeating? Some people with depression, sometimes we use that kind of as a coping skill sometimes.
Yeah, I actually do. Well, I don't know if I would say overeating, but I eat a lot of junk food. Maybe
Okay.
not excessively, but like food that makes you feel good almost.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Sometimes we all need some good junk food.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your sleep? How is your sleep? I know you mentioned, that you sleep too much. When you are sleeping, how's the quality of that?
Um, I would say pretty good because I don't ever wake up, but
Mhm.
I do know that it's unhealthy to sleep for a very long period of time, so maybe not good because I sleep like 12, 13, 14 hours at a
Okay.
time sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes when we sleep that long, sometimes that can kind of contribute to that just overwhelming feeling of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any issues with like not being able to sleep or any kind of like racing thoughts or anything like that before bed?
No, not really. It's really easy for me to fall asleep because I'm always tired.
Okay. Okay. What about like have you or maybe your partner ever noticed that when you're asleep you have like difficulty breathing? So maybe like gasping for air or anything like that?
No, that's never happened before.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. What about do you drink alcohol at all?
Not very much, no.
How often would you say you use it?
Um, Maybe once a week on the weekends, maybe.
Okay. And when you do drink, like how much do you usually drink?
Maybe like one or two glasses, or if I go out, I have one like large margarita.
Okay. What about have you ever or are you currently using any kind of like illicit substances? So any kind of like illegal substances or maybe like prescription pills that aren't prescribed to you, anything like that?
No.
Okay, good. Awesome. So can you just tell me like a little bit about like your personality? What are some good things about you, Bree? I like to focus on positive things.
I feel like I have a good sense of humor and I'm pretty caring towards people. I have a big heart. I want what's best for everyone else and I want everyone else to be happy.
Mhm. Okay. So it sounds like you've kind of been like a really caring and kind of nurturing person your whole life. Does that sound
Yeah,
about right?
I would say so. People have always referred to me as the mom of the group.
Okay. Yeah, so you're kind of the mom friend. You have everything prepared for everyone, right?
Yes.
Um, what about like your past medical history? So do you have any kind of like medical issues or maybe some medical issues that you dealt with in the past?
Um, no, I don't think, not that I could think of.
Okay. What about any kind of surgeries?
I had wisdom tooth surgery, but that was it.
Okay. I've heard that that can be a doozy sometimes,
Yeah, it was horrible.
but I definitely do love the videos of people who are still kind of like under their anesthesia from wisdom teeth surgery.
Yeah, I was begging my mom for a chocolate milkshake.
Okay. And I know that you mentioned that you take multivitamins and then probiotics, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any kind of allergies to any kind of medications or any allergies at all that you know of?
I am allergic to an antibiotic, but I cannot remember the name of it right now.
Okay. Um, and then so we're going to kind of delve into like your family history. So has anyone in your family ever been diagnosed with any kind of like mental illness or substance abuse issues before?
My mom has depression, and
Okay.
my oldest brother has anxiety. My dad has never been diagnosed with depression, but I'm pretty sure he has it.
Okay. Have they ever been hospitalized for that before? Any of them before?
No.
Okay. Do you happen to know if your mom had any kind of complications during her delivery or any kind of complications like immediately afterwards?
No, she didn't.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And so, how would you kind of describe yourself as a child? I know that you mentioned that you were just kind of really caring with a big heart. How else would you describe yourself?
I had a pretty good childhood. I had a lot of friends. I was involved both in school and at church, so I had like lots and lots of friends. I was pretty outgoing, but I was hard-headed and like easy to like make mad, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just had a really big heart when I was little. I wore my heart on my sleeve.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand that. I can understand how, when you're so open with your emotions, it makes you a little more vulnerable to people.
hmm
Um, yeah. So, how would you say your relationship with your parents is?
Um, right now or when I was young?
Both.
Growing up, well, okay, so my parents were together when I was growing up, but they fought a lot. But I had a good relationship with both of them. When I moved to college, they split up. And right before, maybe,
Hard for you.
well, yes and no, because they fought so much that it almost was like a relief.
Hmm.
Um, so they had planned to wait until I went to college to split up. But it really didn't affect my relationship with either of them very much. I don't see my dad a whole lot, but we still talk.
Okay. So it sounds like you still have pretty open communication with both of your parents.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. That's awesome. Do you feel like you can consider your parents supports?
Yeah, 100%. Both like mentally and financially for sure.
Okay. Did you have any siblings when you were growing up?
Yes, I have an older sister and an older brother that are like a lot older than me, so they weren't really in the house much, except for when I was a baby, and I don't remember them. But I had another brother that's 4 years older than me that I grew up with.
So, how was your relationship with your brother growing up? Kind of what was your house like?
We fought a lot growing up, um, but I guess that's just what siblings do. But now that we're older, we get along very well.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, and I know that that's definitely been the case with my siblings. My siblings were also older, and so we would fight and fight and fight. But as we got older, we definitely don't fight as much.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, you had a pretty good childhood. We just definitely wore our heart on our sleeve.
hmm
How about, I know that you mentioned you haven't been able to hang out with your friends as much. How has that, kind of affected those friendships? Do you still feel like you have really close friends that you can rely on?
Not as many as I used to. I feel like a lot of them have kind of given up on me. We'll like still talk sometimes, but definitely nowhere near as much as we used to.
Okay. Are you in any kind of relationship right now?
I do have a boyfriend.
Okay. And how's that going right now?
It's going really good. He's a big help with me. He's really patient with me, and he's just about the only thing that makes me feel some sort of happiness.
Okay. And then I know that you mentioned that you're currently working, right?
Yes.
Working and going to school, which is a whole set of challenges in itself.
Yeah, I work full time and I go to school online full time, and I'm doing my internship for school, which is about 17 hours a week. And I do 16 of those hours in one day on Sundays.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So, how are you kind of managing all of that stress and kind of
Um,
keeping everything together?
well, I do a lot of my homework at work when things are slow, like towards the end of the day, which helps me a lot. But I still am like uh, quite overwhelmed with it, and like I don't know, I don't when I leave work, I don't like to look at my homework because it just like I just can't look at it anymore for the
Yeah,
day.
I understand that completely. So since you're working full time, do you have any kind of like worries about maybe not being able to provide for yourself? Any worries financially or anything like that?
No, and I'm actually pretty lucky because my internship is actually a paid internship.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
hmm
Um, have you ever served in the military before?
No.
Okay. And have you ever been like arrested or had any kind of charges pressed against you for anything like that?
No, I got a ticket one time for not stopping at a stop sign, but that's all.
Okay. And I know that you mentioned that you currently have a boyfriend. Do you feel safe in your current relationship?
Yeah, 100%. We are long distance, so
I can
um,
imagine that can be tough sometimes.
it is tough. And he is a basketball coach, so when basketball season starts, he won't be able to visit me as much. So it is really difficult.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any children?
No.
Okay. So I know that I feel like I've asked you a million different questions. Do you have any questions for me? Or maybe is there something that you wanted to talk about that maybe I didn't ask you about?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Bree. Well, it really sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're having a lot of issues with just this overwhelming feeling of just depression and just exhaustion. And so, I would like to work with you on some, maybe some coping skills that we can do just to kind of try to decrease, the hold that that depression has on us and kind of help you be in control of that. How does that sound to you?
That sounds really good, and I feel like if I learned some like new coping skills, that it would really help me a lot.
Okay. And then is there anything specific out of services that you are looking to achieve?
Honestly, just kind of what you said, like learning how to deal with like my sadness and like coping skills to hopefully like make me feel better and not be so sad all the time. Um, I think sleeping is one of my biggest issues, so like finding a way to like get a new sleeping schedule or something like that maybe.
Yes, and I would be absolutely more than happy to help you with that.
Okay.
So we will start kind of talking about that in our session next week. And if you don't have any more questions for me, that is the end of our assessment.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me, Bree, and I really look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.